Hello and welcome to Beards and Bangers, and today you find me getting all nostalgic because I am test driving a car very similar to the one that I first owned. So today I am looking at a Volkswagen Polo Mk2. Welcome to Beards and Bangers. So the Volkswagen Polo was launched in 1975. That was the Mark 1, and it was essentially just a rebadged Audi 50. Now the Audi 50 wasn't available as a standard vehicle in the UK. The Polo was cheaper and it was more basic inside. In 1977 the Volkswagen Derby saloon was introduced, so basically a Polo with a boot. And then there was a minor facelift in 1979 where plastic bumpers were added. October 1981 saw the mark of the vehicle that you see in front of us now, and that's the Mark II. And this is where this distinctive bread van shape came in. So we've got almost estate-like rear end to it. This is the same shape that I had, so almost an estate. And that was introduced, say, in October 81, and at that stage there was a supercharged version launched. The car was facelifted in 1990, which was more rounded and had big rectangular headlamps rather than the circular headlamps that we see on this Mark II. The top of the range was the supercharged GT40 or G40, sorry, and this is a Polo C, so it's the 1043 cc engine, the same as what I had back in the mid 90s. So let's have a little look around the outside of Gary's car here. So so the grille is non-standard. We've got the quad headlamps at the front, which isn't from the factory. That's unusual. Gary's lowered his, so he's got a 60mm lower on the front and a 30mm on the back. This is a really, I don't know what colour this is, but it's a really lovely what's it called? Polar silver. There we are, we're ad-libbing. Polar silver. It's a really nice colour, and we've also got these aftermarket alloys. They're QZ alloys, which are really quite attractive and really do make this car pop, I have to say. I remember the fuel filler being quite low down. I remember an MOT fail as well with having a non-correct fuel cap. But yeah, the bread van shape, we'll have a look in the boot in a sec. Gary's got a stainless steel exhaust on his, so we'll fire that up and see what it sounds like in a second. But this is a really clean 30-year-old car. Real trip down memory lane for me, so nostalgic. You know, my first car was 1985 Polo CL, same engine, 1043cc. But yeah, really nice little thing. So let's have a little look around it in a bit more detail. Now, under the bonnet, this is the kind of detailing that I need to get into, because if you look under the bonnet of any of my cars, they are absolutely filthy and hanging. So this is lovely engine bay. Under the air filter housing we've got a Weber carburettor. So these had a smaller Weber carb, and that was standard. Gary's rocker cover is from a Golf, but really attractive. I think these red rocker covers do look really nice, and that's given me some inspiration for the Micra actually. But just look how simple this engine bay is. Just everything's there. A car that you can work on yourself, and it's just absolutely immaculate. And the very sensible addition of some gas struts to save using the stalk all the time. But yeah, really good little engines on these. Still got a Dizzy, which is nice to see, with an automatic choke as well. So this example has got a monumental sound system in the back, and this battery isn't the main battery. This is just purely to power the amp. But we can see we've got a fairly decent boot, so you know it's you might cram a set of golf clubs in there, but really, it's, you know, it's good for the shopping. Although when I had mine, I used to take mine down to Cornwall for holidays and pack it full of stuff, 2 passengers, use part of the back seat for storage as well, and, you know, really cracking cars. But just look at this amp. This is absolutely immense. But you can see there's a big piece of kit there, and that's actually fitting in there quite nicely. We might see what it sounds like in a minute. Now this is where I'm really taken back to my my youth. So stepping inside the Mk2 Polo, we've got this lovely 80s plastic twin spoke steering wheel. We've got a lovely basic dash, so we've got clock to the right, we've got temperature and fuel in the centre, we've got little Christmas tree of lights there, and then the speedo. And then what I remember is the buttons to the side. So we've got our rear fog light, heated rear window, and hazard warning lights to the left. And then on the right we've got our headlights, and we've also got our dash brightness, standard European pattern, indicators on the left, windscreen wiper controls on the right. Looking at the door card, we've got this rather nice fabric here, and the slimmest little manual window winder here. Pretty sturdy, pretty chunky. It's not, you know, this is a German car, so it's not tinny and plasticky. Heater controls, very basic. We've got a 3-speed fan. I don't know how well you can see it, but 3-speed fan here. We've got our direction and heat controls, 12-volt socket, nice little ashtray there. Aftermarket stereo, of course. I remember changing the stereo in mine and it getting nicked. That was a radio cassette, and I think after that I upgraded to a CD radio. Now this car is quite unusual. This is a factory standard, so this is fitted in the factory. It's actually got the 5-speed box. So the standard on Mk2 Polos, especially the C with the 1043 cc's, was to have a 4-speed box, which certainly mine was. So this makes this quite a rare car, having the 5-speed box. The dash itself is a lovely brown colour. It's a really nice colour. I don't know how well you can appreciate it because the light, for some reason, isn't very great today. But a really nice brown dash, and this little pinchy switch for the glove box. Yeah, and that's a decent little cubby in there. So it's yeah, very functional, very practical. Lots of brown in this example, but the condition is absolutely superb. Just looking at the tachometer, it's 50,000 miles, so it's a really low mileage example. I'm just having a little look round the back, so I won't be jumping in there because it's God. But just look at the condition of these seats, and a lovely brown parcel shelf as well, with the Polo sticker in the back as well. But yeah, really nice inside. This really is a trip down memory lane, just sitting here. So I think without further ado, we need to take it for a drive, don't you? So I'm just getting Gary to give it some revs. Stainless exhaust, they always sound so much better. Really nice. So here we are, taking it for a drive. Oh, and that exhaust sounds absolutely lovely. I've got into 5th. Now Gary just told me there's no servo on the brakes, and I've got to remember that, although I've got serious brake fade on the 190, so it's not a problem. We shall anticipate well. But I'm just, oh, the sound of this exhaust, it just sounds so lovely. Now, where are all these people going? So yeah, so even though they're only just over a 1 litre engine, they are quite perfect cars. I remember taking mine up to a training course up in Derbyshire, and I at the time was living near Luton, and it would happily get me up and down the M1 each weekend as I was travelling up to this training course, and absolutely no issues whatsoever. But this one is just such a clean example. It's obviously very well looked after, and I've got to get my gearing right here. And I shan't rant, but we've got someone doing 10 miles an hour. So I've done my ranting today with Smart Motorway, so we shan't do any more. Could be a cyclist up ahead. I won't say anything about cyclists. But this steering wheel, it's a lovely 2-spoke, and it dishes towards you, so it's got a really nice feel to it. It's a really tactile steering wheel, and yeah, I can tell you so much about it at 15 miles an hour, because it's really letting me put the car through its paces. Hopefully we'll be able to open up a little bit in a minute. So while we're waiting, I'll thank Gary now for lending me his car to make this review video. Excuse me, there are not many of these left on the roads. I haven't looked on howmanyleft.co.uk, because often that is not accurate, and values seem to be doing pretty well. Projects seem to be fetching around the £500 mark, but a well sought after example, then we're getting north of £2,000, which is where these cars should be. I think we're going to get some speed up, which is great. Here we are. You can really appreciate that exhaust. Lovely note, lovely note. And given this is only just over 1 litre, it's really nippy. I'm up at 45 already, and then a new thing for me in a Mk2 Polo is changing up into 5th. So that's a really good thing to have on this car, especially with modern traffic. We've got some more jiggery pokery going on up ahead, so I'm going to have to slow down again, but hopefully you appreciated that magnificent run up to 45 miles an hour. Yeah, and certainly, yeah, that 5th gear, just, I know when I was up and down the M1 in my youth, that 5th gear would have come in really useful. We've got no rev counter in these. I'm not sure if there was an option to have them. I'm not quite sure what we're revving at, but I guess given the size of the engine, you know, if we're in 4th gear on the motorway, we're probably screaming above 3,000 RPM, I would imagine. So I think we've got another cyclist up ahead. In fact, I'm sure we have. Must be related to the other one, because it looks exactly the same. And we're in 4th and pulling away really nicely. We've got a nice bit of torque there, up to 50. That exhaust note sounds beautiful and raspy, and then we've got that lovely 5th gear, so we're not deafening ourselves and screaming the engine. What an absolutely delightful little car. Now Gary's just tested the sound system. We won't have that in the video for copyright reasons, but the sound of the speaker in the back was absolutely immense. What a sound system. it just takes me back. You've got no power steering, no servo assisted braking, so you've got to, with cars like this, you've got to drive properly, and it just makes you realise how much we take modern cars for granted. You know, you've got to anticipate with your braking, you've got to work hard with your steering, really good for the biceps. But it's just, yeah, proper, these are proper drivers' cars, and this one is just so much fun to drive. Now hopefully you can hear that appreciate that lovely exhaust note coming from the back. It's you know, really nice sounding car, and it's so fresh. 50,000 miles. You know, it's a really low mileage example. As I said earlier, the interior is absolutely immaculate. No saggy headlinings, no marks. It's just, you know, a really clean example. An absolute pleasure for me to come down here and drive this car today. So I hope you've enjoyed another non-MG Rover video from my channel. Massive thanks to Gary once again for lending me his lovely Volkswagen Polo Mk2 1.1043cc. Absolutely lovely drive. Forgotten how easy these things are to park, because you know exactly where the back of the car is. I just have another little look at it, 'cause it's just so nice. And yeah, nice little drive just now. Really makes you appreciate modern cars, but also makes me nostalgic for the past. So thank you for watching. If you want to see more interesting car videos, then please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video, and I will see you again soon. Very soon with some more footage on the K11 Micra. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.